Okay, this is part 4 of lesson 4.1/2, and this is where we're going to look at an application. Notice I've already filled in the graph with a scale and the table. I'm going to read the question here, and then if you want to try to record the scales, that would be helpful. And if I get to a point where I'm done reading and ready to move on, just pause the video and finish filling in the scale. The lesson's not really about scale. I just want to be able to do the question. It says each arch in the BCE place Galleria can be approximated by the relation negative 0.55 x squared plus 26, where y is the height in meters above the floor and x is the width in meters from the center of the hallway. Use x values of -6 to +6. And I've done that in the table. I evenly spaced them. And I created a scale that kind of came up with that. So let's use our equation and try to come up with some y values. Now the nice one is that 0. We can start there because if we put 0 into our equation, 0 squared is 0, and 0 times this negative 0.55 ends up being 0, and we end up with just 26. And that makes sense because if we remember that number on the very end, that constant term is going to be your y-intercept. So we can start by graphing -26 on the y-axis. I'm going to do that. Not -26, 26. And if we look, that number in front is negative. What's that tell us about our parabola? Well, it tells us that it's going to open down. And if you think about an arch, arches usually start low, go up, and then come down. So we're going to have something that looks like that. It's just nice to take what we've learned and kind of apply it to an application question so you can get an idea as to what the picture might look like. So now we just need to use the equation to come up with the rest of our y values. So let's do that. Our equation is -0.55, and then we're going to put our x's in. My first x is -6. We're going to square it, and then we're going to add 26. There's our equation. If I hit equals, I get 31/5, which is 6.2. And I'm going to use that trick I showed in the last lesson. I'm just going to go and change the numbers. So the next x is -4, and we get 17.2. Notice the numbers are going up towards 26. So the next number should be somewhere between 17.2 and 26. We got 23.8, close to 26. And we already did 0, so now we can go plug in 2. The neat thing is, -2 and +2, when you square them, you get the same answer, so we should expect the same answer we just got, which we did, 23.8. Now, if you're making a table and this happens to you, and you know it's a parabola, as soon as you hit that symmetry part where you see the numbers go back to the other numbers, you can complete the rest of the table now without doing any math because it's going to follow the same pattern. The next one's 17.2 and the last one's 6.2. And you can do that with confidence as long as your x's are the same spacing. So as long as your x's are going up by 2 the whole way, as soon as you hit that point of symmetry, it's going to use the same numbers over again. That being said, let's come up with a graph. -6 is 6.2. That would be about right here. -4 is 17.2. That would be above 16, lower than 18. -2 is 23, which is almost 24. 2 is the same. 4 would be 17.2. Same height as the other side, because remember it's symmetrical. And 6 would be about there. Now if we continue this, connect, go down, and we're going to extend just a little bit. We don't know exactly where it's going to cross the x-axis. In later units we'll be able to do the math to figure it out, but I'm going to extend it just a little bit so we get there. And now that we have a picture, we're just going to answer some questions about the arch, the BCE place arch. Describe the shape. Well, the shape is an arch. But since it's quadratic, we can say the shape is a parabola. It's a parabolic or a parabola arch. Is the graph facing up or down is our next question. Well, we knew from the equation it was going to face down, and now we can see it's down. What's the axis of symmetry? Ooh, where's that line that splits the graph right in half? We can see it in the table. It's the point, it's the line that goes through here, 26. So it's right here, right down the x-axis, in fact. Sorry, right down the y-axis. And that means it would pass through 0 on the x-axis, so the equation would be x equals 0. So the axis of symmetry is x equals 0. E says, what's the maximum point of the graph? Well, if we go look, the maximum point's right here. It goes right across here. And that would be y is 26. So let's go back down. Maximum point on the graph is y equals 26. Why is that relevant? Well, these are going to help us answer this next part. How tall and wide is the arch? Well, how tall is it? Well, it's 26 meters tall. Because remember, the y's tell you about the height. The height is 26 meters. That's the tallest point, so that's how tall the arch is. How wide? Well, we have to go look at the ground. The ground would be the x-axis. It looks like it goes -7 to about 7. We don't know for sure because those weren't actual points. So we can say something like this. We can say approximately 14 meters wide. Because 7 on either side, add them together, we get 14. And that is a quadratic application question. And that's it for part 4 of lesson 4.1/2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in lesson 4.3.